and declining that offer. So Kaien is unfortunately on his own, but he took the last game. So I think Kaien himself can actually do this.
And here he is on Blistering Sands up in the northeast. Our orange Zerg, none other than FOTBA Kaien.
Yay. Who just realized the map that he's on. And down here in the bottom left-hand side of the awesome map, who only needs 3 expos. Really, Protoss generally only needs 2, but I guess maybe he's going to take 3. Whatever. And, alright.
Just getting a couple of messages.
Just see what, just help us out with the adminning. We got so many messages.
Well, let's see what the opening is. We've got a pylon and the ramp on this map. The rush distance is a little bit longer than some of our earlier maps. We can probably get away with that. He's not too worried about a repeat of the Ling Zealot, the Ling drone pull. I actually think that a hatchery first would probably be the best play, although you can see the distance. Get a hatchery first, set yourself up for, as I say, that roach and Ling speed timing, and the roaches work on the back rocks, you harass the front a little bit, and Protoss is in trouble, and of course this also deals well with the 4-gate that was the so common response. We'll see what our players think. A lucky all-in. A lucky all-in is an all-in nonetheless.
Lucky all-in, pretty well-timed all-in, and it's not like it was just a one-base straight to, like he attempted on Steps of War. It was, let's call it a multiple-base all-in. And against, HuShang, who did admit that he was maybe being a little greedy. And Canadian Hope, of course, both players are Canadian, so that could apply to anything.
I love it. The Canadian Hope all around. Yeah. Canada wins and loses, like in everything else, and then it's a sorry. So we've got actually 2 fairly early gases from our Protoss. Both gases going down before even the Cyber Core is started. So going to indicate some kind of attack, and I think something cheesy is going to be happening. And I'm looking forward to it, because that's what makes these maps so fun, is when people throw real random builds, not even random builds, but DTs or fun stuff, and we see the responses. And often, occasionally you just get a game where somebody just runs over the other guy with something unusual, but it's when you see something unusual on an unusual map and both players are really playing by ear, and you see the decision making, and you really get to kind of get a feel for the players, instead of just, this is something that I've rehearsed 10,000 times and I know exactly what I'm doing until the 25th minute of the game.
Exactly. And we'll kind of see, and that is a Roach Warren that's kind of come out of our Zerg player, and maybe he's going for this back row.
I wonder if he's listening.
Does a person think that? And it's definitely a thing to do that people did do back in the day. Just go immediately for the back rocks. Of course, there was no mothership core at that time, so if you could get into a Protoss base, it was hard to, forget hard to stop, you won. that is basically true. So we do get that, but obviously Kaien here not even expanding, while we do have our Protoss player doing just that, and roaches are in fact out along the way. But this mothership core getting a little forward, trying to see what is going on, and a probe trying to get some sense of what's going on as well, and a cancel on that pylon, maybe sniffing out that there is no base being taken, and that this is going to be all in. Now, really clever here. What do we have Kaien researching?
He's researching burrow. It's going to be a one base. We're going to have like roach, 8, maybe 9 roaches at most, and burrow, which is really unusual.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not going to be an observer, and GM player generally isn't going to make a cannon anytime soon. So we're going to really see if the micro holds up, because if the micro holds, then our Zerg player can do quite well. Now, the DPS of the Mothership Core adds things a bit different. Both Nexus are up, so he's going to be facing Nexus cannons, and that's the real problem. Can he get by? But if he spends his time, I think this is actually going to be a problem.
He will get this spotted here. OIC says HuShang as he sees the back rocks going, and he's actually maybe just going to wall this off.
Did he wall his probe in?
He did actually. He may have to cancel one of those if he wants to continue. No, there he goes.
But this is the problem, though. It's a one base all in. He doesn't have the time, I think, to waste killing this. It actually takes 2 force fields to block that ramp.
And he does reveal that the trying to save that roach's life reveals that the burrow does exist.
True.
And forage is coming down. No robo, but the forage is right there at these pylons, so if it gets picked off,
there's
then
a
that's
huge
pretty
warp in.
important.
Can you get the force fields on time? And there it is.
Pretty slick force fields. Burrow going down, but of course no burrow movement.
No.
And that's going to make a really big difference because now you're just kind of pinned in position. He will take this expansion behind it. Roaches, insta force fields going back down. Could he actually swing off to the other side and go for just the natural? Which he does actually know exists from an Overlord.
He hasn't lost a roach yet, actually, so he's got the decent micro. He's getting close to those sentries. Can he start picking any of them off? He's got to keep the micro. Lings are now at the expansion, but there's only 2 probes, so does it even matter? But we need, what do we have? We still have a Zealot blocking off the natural ramp. So those Lings are going to kill the Nexus and Adam soon, but we're running low on force fields as Roach goes down, but he's pushing through and he's picking off sentries.
You got the Robo coming along the way, and he's just trying to stall the timeout. If the Roaches go directly for it, could create a little bit of a problem, but as he does come into Photon Overcharge range, he's either going to have to burrow or do damage really, really quickly, trying to go after the sentries as his priority and not really sure what to do. Does end up burrowing, but this is going to be over when the Observer comes out. So a pretty good, pretty well formulated attack by Kaien, actually quite clever. To do this sort of thing. It did catch HuShang off guard, but just really good force fields and getting out exactly what he needed to do it. We do have the Lings coming in up the ramp, though, going after these additional buildings, so it's certainly not over yet. He does cause a supply block
and he has a Nexus
running into the Photon Overcharge range, but that does expire.
Hold position those Lings, there we go.
Back, and they will take out a few probes, so certainly the game will continue from this position, but definitely we've got we've got our Zerg player in a deficit at least.
He's in a deficit, but he has an expansion. Protoss does not. If he can stay alive for the moment and recoup, he has the ability to power drones. Immortals are coming out, but if he doesn't make too many more roaches, he might be okay. And it's unfortunate because what happened was his burrow micro failed him at the moment that he got in the base. That was a critical moment. He was in the base. He was hitting the sentries. And if he was just able to keep those roaches alive, he may have actually pulled it right off there. That was a really critical moment. But obviously you could see, you know, a more experienced, better player, higher ranked player, if you want to say it as that, able to sort of keep his calm and keep it going and doing what he needed to do. Now this Mothership Core is going to see this, and he's going to see a lot of drones there. That's actually going to be a little bit scary for a Protoss player. He knows he's going to be behind, and he's doing, I think, what he's making the decision that he needs to do damage now. I'm behind on workers probably. I'm behind on bases, and it's 40 workers to 28. He might feel like he's even behind by more workers, seeing that many workers at the expansion. We've got a macro hatch coming up connecting the bases. It looks like Kaien really likes to do that.
Yeah.
Getting this Overlord is going to be an issue because we're going to be able to see a bit of a supply block.
You do get Lings getting into the main base as this Immortal Force moves out. These will get surrounded, but a few more workers will definitely go down.
I gotta say this, our third player has so much money. If he just dropped like 8 spine crawlers about 10 seconds ago, he could probably hold this off, but it looks like he's just going to get rolled over by a bit of a soul train off one base. He is making a whole bunch of roaches, but they're not Hydras, and that would have been...
we got the Hydra Den just completed, and Kaien does tap out. Really good showing from him to take a game off a GM player. Just kind of surprise him like that, and actually have a really well formulated strategy on this. The execution